How hot is it? Hotter than Satan's crotch. It's really hot outside. Of the top 20 YouTube photography channels, I'm the only one, and I'm not bragging, I'm just saying I'm the only one of them that grew up with medium format. I mean, my first several cameras were medium format cameras. Twin lens reflexes, Yashica mats, had a couple Rolleiflexes, photography school, 6.7 Pentaxes, a couple used Hassies when I worked at Beach Photo and Video. Oh man, I remember those days. The stuff that I hear, let's just forget, you know, and by the way, cut it with the Fuji Shield stuff, okay? I pay the same price retail for the Fujifilm equipment that I own as everybody else. But I mean, the stuff that I keep hearing, everybody is talking about the GFX100 being expensive. My question to these YouTubers and on these idiotic photography forums is, what sort of crack, what brand of cherry flavored or grape flavored crack or heroin are you doing to actually call this camera expensive? I mean, have you price checked medium format cameras in the past 10 years or even currently? Current Hasselblad equivalent is $47,000. Mamiya Leaf Credo 100 megapixel is what is it, $27,000? What brand of crack are these people smoking? I keep hearing, well, this is an expensive camera, you know, you could buy like a pair of Nikon D850s and a few lenses, or you could buy a Nikon D5 and a Nikon D850 and half a dozen lenses, and you could. But I mean, what sort of barometer or measure are these people using to perform the mental gymnastics to call a $10,000 medium format camera, the world's first IBIS medium format camera, the world's first fast focusing medium format camera, the world's first medium format phase detect autofocus and low light, and on and on. What are they smoking? For God, do you know, like here, the Mamiya Leaf Credo or even the Pentax 645Z takes the same sensor as this. I think the going rate used right now for GFX100, for example, is like $3,500 on eBay. And what is it now currently? Is it $3,900 on sale currently, the GFX100? What are people smoking to make these idiotic proclamations? Oh, it's an expensive camera. And by the way, they didn't actually have a recall. What it was a service advisory for a limited number of early release GFX100s, wherein which the vertical grip switch detent, let me repeat that again, the switch detent was manufactured incorrectly. I don't know if you know what a switch detent is, but it's actually a ball lock that engages where you actually flip the switch for on or off on the camera on the vertical grip only, that it actually locks in a notch. It's the same sort of ball detents that are used on older lenses. When you actually change the aperture, you can feel it go click, 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 click. And if you take the aperture rings off, there are these little steel balls that fly off and into the car. Like, oh, there it goes. Never gonna find it again. So the actual plate that sits over top of the ball detent, which engages in a little concave, trough inside the subplate chassis that makes up the on-off switch, was defective. So, yeah, so a ball detent on the vertical grip. Oh, that's okay. That's actually not a recall. That's specifically called a service advisory. It's not a recall. There's a big difference between a service advisory and a recall. There's a big difference between a service advisory and a recall, girlfriend. Not my opinion, hardcore fact. But, you know, it's one thing if an idiot YouTuber says something stupid, well, that camera's expensive. Well, compared to what? You know that big clunky elephant turd Hasselblad 100 megapixel camera that is slower than a constipated turtle in January and is $47,000 and is the size of a dinosaur turd and is also as fast as one? Is that what you're comparing it to? Or are you comparing it to the $27,000 Mamiya Leaf Credo that's as large as a Volkswagen, slower than a dead lizard, just with a single autofocus point that needs bright lights before it can even decide if it wants to focus. Are you comparing it to that? Would these people literally just shut the F up when it comes to calling the camera expensive? Everybody told me, no, I mean, people are going to buy that camera. It's $10,000. Well, I told everybody before it actually hit for a retail sale. I said, listen, Fujifilm is going to sell the epic shit out of these. No, it's not, fat boy. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Well, it turns out that's exactly what's happened. It even surprised Fuji. It was like, oh my God, we've sold like a lot more of these cameras. Pre-sold though, a lot more of them than we expected. What the hell is it people are calling expensive about the camera? I think it's stupidity, generic ignorance, the fact that none of these YouTubers and people that are like 30 years of age, roughly, and younger, they didn't grow up with medium format. They don't know how expensive it's always been. And basically they're full of crap. Welcome to downtown Fort Myers. I think you can see a reflection. Let me turn it around. Let me turn the camera around. You can see it here. There we go. You see it? It's downtown Fort Myers. It's really hot outside. Wait for it. Wait for it. Fujifilm.